Sit. Good. All right, well, here we are with Ellie back at Animal Training Development Center, and today we are working with her for her second day of her board and train program, and she is a really sweet dog at about 6 months old. Of course, she's a golden retriever. We have been helping her adjust at our home and getting her used to the training center and taking a lot of walks and having a lot of fun. And as with all of our dog, and as with all the dogs we train, we are noticing some little special things that we're going to start working on with her. She is a jumper and she likes to get attention, and so we're working on her jumping up. And we've also noticed that she has a little bit of what is known as a submissive wetting problem. So submissive wetting is typically a young dog thing. So when they're adolescents and at 6 months old, I tend to call it pupperty instead of puberty with Millie right now. So what we're looking at is a dog that doesn't have a lot of self-confidence and doesn't have a lot of life experience. And so she has a tendency, when she feels pressure, just to piddle a little bit, for lack of a better term. So what we're trying to do is show you and her how to alleviate that issue. It's kind of an interesting subject because in the wild, with the wolf packs, this is a perfectly acceptable form of communication. So if you see the leaders of the wolf pack come back from a hunt, for example, it's not at all unusual to see all the younger wolves literally start to roll over and sometimes even urinate as the more dominant figures come into the pack. So what we're looking to do is kind of alleviate the issue that we see as humans with it being a house training problem. In the wolf packs, it's an acceptable form of communication where they're actually kind of saying, yeah, I get it, you're showing me respect. And so when dogs do it to us, we have a tendency to try to stop it like we would house training. We might even yell at them, no. And it's normal to understand that that's how we might feel, but to fix the problem, that's the exact wrong thing to do. So what we want to do instead is try to lower our excitability as we come into a place or as we go out. So I basically say we want to keep things flat. We want to keep things flat when we come in, and we want to keep things flat when we go away. So what we're doing to help her right now is just that. I'm pretending to back off away from her a little bit, and then you see she's coming to me right away, sit. And the reason is like I said, she doesn't have that self-confidence in order to hold away from me. And then as I approach her to pet her, this oftentimes is what will trigger it. So we're trying to make our approaches kind of really, methodical and not very exciting. Sit. And then just light pet, backing away again. Oops. And here, if I were to really correct her for breaking the sit, sometimes that causes them to submissively wet. So we're just trying to put her back just nice and calmly. No, sit. And you can see she doesn't like to be away from anybody because she doesn't have that self-confidence that she needs in order to be comfortable even at 6 feet away. So this is how we start to build self-confidence. And in building self-confidence, and by building self-confidence, we're actually lowering the odds that she'll continue to submissively wet, because as her confidence grows, she doesn't feel the necessity to demonstrate submission to us, and she's going to get better and better at that. Good girl. Okay, it's a release word. She can get up, and now as she wanders around, I just still want to keep things kind of flat. So what I would recommend you guys do at home with this is take them for walks outside, and when they're outside, that's when you want to build a little bit of pressure training. What I mean by that is when I tell her to sit, that's kind of like a command, and they feel a little bit of emotional pressure when they're given a command. And so what we want to do is be aware that when they feel any kind of pressure, no, sit. Those are the kinds of things that can cause submissive wetting to occur. No, sit. And yet, something she needs to learn as she grows up is the whole world is, full of kind of pressure that we have to deal with, and she has to, have pressure of, learning that certain things are dangerous, and you can't just race across streets and run away when you're off leash and all these kinds of things. And right now we're just teaching her that you have to hold a sit. So, nope, sit, nope, sit, nope, sit. Good. Good. Good, and okay. Even the release word, I'm keeping really kind of flat. You can almost see she's about to submissively wet right there. Okay. Good. Obviously, when you practice this inside, you want to make sure you're on something like concrete or linoleum, something easy to clean, because if it does happen, the wrong thing to do is to correct her for doing it. You just want to kind of pretend you didn't notice. You want to keep things kind of flat emotionally, and you want to just kind of get her away from the area even before you clean it up. I try not to let them even see me clean it up. I don't want to make it a big deal, because if it's a big deal, it gets worse. And so we just kind of pretend it didn't happen, and we try to, work on this stuff outside a little bit more assertively, to where if she does have a little bit of release, it's going to be outdoors and it's not a big deal. But if you do it outdoors, they'll do it indoors. So we kind of try to desensitize them to whatever it is that's triggering that. And so here we're keeping things really flat, but what I'd like to do next is we're going to set up outdoors where I can go through this again, and this time we can do a little bit more pressure and see if we can start to desensitize her to the next level up. So stay tuned, and we'll be back. Good girl, Millie, come here. What a good dog. Good girl. Okay, good. So another real common time for her to do this is when we put her on leash. And so we're trying to get her desensitized to that as well. Good girl, sit. Good, sit. Okay, good, and no problems. Good dog, good dog. So, as we go through this, one of the things that we can talk about is triggers. And no matter what behavior you're trying to work on with your dog, there are things that trigger that unwanted behavior. And so when it comes to submissive wetting, it's things like excitement and things like pressure of having to, do things, get a leash on, or even to have to sit. Those kinds of pressures can bring that kind of behavior to surface. And so they become triggers for the dog. And so your dog may have a trigger for jumping. And that's another one of the things we're working on with Millie, is this idea that, I'm excited to see you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to jump and scratch at you. Not that they're trying to hurt you on purpose, but in their enthusiasm, it still hurts. And so we're trying to lower those things as well. Come here, Millie. Come on. Good girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Okay. Excellent. No problem so far this afternoon. So the big test will be at home tonight to see if indeed around the other dogs and the other kinds of triggers that we have there, maybe we've got this problem already under control, and that would be awesome at just 2 days into our 10-day program. But if not, stay tuned and we'll show you how we work through whatever happens next. Thanks for watching. Happy training. All right, so here we are outdoors where we're not as concerned if Millie goes ahead and has a little submissive wetting, and I'm going to show you how we're working at desensitizing her to a little bit more pressure. Millie, sit. No, sit. Good. Good girl. Come. Sit. Come on. Sit. Good. That's a good girl. Good. What a good dog. Very good. So what I'm doing is I'm coming up with a little bit more enthusiasm to praise her. I'm giving her big releases. Okay, good girl, good dog. Sit. Good. That's it. Good dog. What a good girl. Awesome. Good girl. Okay. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, so we're really making some progress. We haven't had any submissive wetting this morning. We've had several instances yesterday, both at the training center and at my home, and maybe we'll get one of those on video, but it's actually a good thing that we're not having that happen. So we're getting her more excited, letting her learn that people get too excited to see her, and she's not gonna feel that need to go ahead and submissively wet as she starts to get used to the, just the excitement and the pressure of obeying as well. Millie, sit. Good. No, sit. Okay, good girl. All right, well, thanks for watching. Happy training. All right, good dog, Millie. You ready to go out for a little walk around the YMCA? Yeah, that's a good girl. All right, so today is the day before her last day. So we're here at Friday, and she's gonna get picked up tomorrow. So we're excited to take her for one more walk around the Y. Good, we're gonna make her wait, that's right, until we give the release word. This is a healthy habit. So when we say, okay, good girl, she's allowed to come on out. Right now we're just working on that one unspoken command right there, making sure that even though she's excited and she's smelling some things, we don't get to the end of the leash at any time for any reason. And I'm just reminding her, just like you will, with these quick tugs back right before she reaches the end of the leash. A little potty break. Good girl. You notice she's wearing that metal prong style collar, and we're going to recommend that you guys invest in one of those for training purposes. She's a very strong dog, and this is just something that I find is very useful for dogs, especially when they're young and strong like she is, to go ahead and help keep their attention. So on her regular buckle collar, we weren't getting very good results. Kind of a windy day today. Hopefully the sound quality won't be too bad, but we definitely have plenty of wind, and the wind always brings a lot of distraction with it because dogs can smell for miles away. And so you'll notice when they're walking into the wind, they're a lot more distracted than they are when they're walking downwind. Good. Millie, sit. Good. Good girl, Millie. Good. Hi. Pretty dog. Thank you. Good girl, Millie. Good. Okay. Good girl. Very nice. So that was a really good job on Millie's part, holding her sit command as that dog walked by, showing you her improvements there. Good stuff. We're going to try a heel command next. Sit, Millie. So the heel command, you'll see more detail at our training center. But for now, heel. We're going to try to heel past these walkers. Good. No heel. No heel. No heel, no heel, no heel. Good. There we go. And sit. Good girl. Okay. So the heel always ends with a sit. As you saw there, I had to really be firm with her to get her to finish up well. And that's normal for a young dog. She's going to still be young for quite a while. And so these are things that you'll be practicing as well. And for a young dog like this, the world is just a big amusement park, and she's just loving every minute of it. Good dog. Yeah. And then just every now and then, just go ahead and try that command to sit. Millie, sit. Good girl. And then until you give the release word, she should just hold. Nope, sit. And that's what you do if she stops holding. I like to usually get them to look at me. Millie. Okay, and then I give the release word. So if you make that habit, you'll find that your dog will focus on you much, much better over time. And up ahead, we have one of our other daycare dogs headed our way. So this is Blue with our trainer, Kamari. And so we're gonna do a heel back and forth in front of each other. Millie, sit. So we're gonna get ourselves situated here, get our leash We'd like you to get tight between our waist and our shoulder. So right about here for me, heel. And we're gonna try to heel right past. No, heel. Now she's got to keep her nose up and stay right in this heel position every step of the way. No heel, no heel. Let's do an about face. We're gonna come back and forth a couple times. Sit. And we'll just heel right past each other again. Heel. That's good dog, Millie. One more time. Good, the wind's not too bad here. Good, Millie. There we go. All right, see you back there. Good girl. And sit. Good dog. Okay. Good. So now that she's in the release word, okay, just means we're back to that one unspoken command. Never get to the unleash at any time for any reason. And so you can give her, you know, all of the 6-foot leash if you want. And she can, you know, sniff around, be right, be on the left, be in front, be behind. All that fun doggy stuff. She just can't pull. That's the only rule with this one. And this is what we do just to kind of enjoy a walk together. But when we see distractions or dangers, this is the time that we like to use that heel command to keep them safe and keep them out of trouble. Sit, sit, good. Heel, good. No heel. Good girl. No heel. Sit. Good girl. Heel. 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 No heel. No heel. Hardest part for her is her nose, and that's common for a lot of dogs. We're going to purposely walk through some grassy areas here and show you how keeping her nose up in the heel command is very important. It's fine during just a walk that she sniffs the ground, but during the heel command, we really need her to keep her nose up. And that's so that she can stay focused on us and avoid any kind of dangers or problems. Heel, no heel, no heel, good. There we go. Good girl. That's it. And sit. Yes, very nice. Okay. And now that she's in the release word, if she wants to sniff the ground, she's welcome to do that. Good job. Good girl. Good. Heel. No heel. No heel. No heel. Come on. Heel. Good. There you go. Good girl. Good. No heel. No heel. Sit. Good. Hup. Good girl. That's right. Good dog. Good dog, Millie. Good dog. She both did good. Good, Blue. Good, Millie. Millie, heel. Good. Good. All right, well, here we are back at Animal Training Development Center with Millie, and Millie is completing her board and train program with us. We've really enjoyed having her. She is a very sweet dog. She's got the typical golden retriever heart, and she is as pretty on the inside as she is the out. She gets along really well with all the other dogs that we've put around her. She does have a little bit of a dominant side, so I kind of like that. She will stick up for herself if she feels like she needs to, but she's not a bully by any means. So I would give her a high dominant with the underscore supportive dogality type. And that's a really nice combination. So the dominant side, suggests some confidence and suggests that she, has a good attitude about working. And then the supportive side makes her pretty eager to please. So we've enjoyed working with her. And as you'll see, she's a very bright dog. She is still a very young dog, so she's going to need a lot of reinforcement. And of course, that's where the private lesson that you guys are going to get here after you get a chance to watch the video and practice some of these things at home. We'll have you give us a call and we'll set up a private lesson so we can spend an hour together putting the leash in your hands and talking you through all these different commands. And then you'll have 3 months of drop-in classes that you can participate in. And we would highly recommend that you take advantage of some of those. We call them drop-in classes because you can choose to drop in or not drop in. So it's really up to you as to whether you use them. Right now we're offering them on Tuesday nights from 7:30 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. and on Saturday mornings 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. So again, we welcome you to join us for any of those for 3 months after today. So I guess that's December, January, around the first week of February, you can take advantage of those. We're going to go through all the commands that we taught for you now. And the first one that we do is what we call the unspoken command. And we call it the unspoken command because I just want this to be a given. If I put a leash on a dog and I start to move away, the dog should keep some slack in the leash. It's their job to watch me enough to where if I start to move away, see how she's just following me. They don't have to be on one side or the other. They don't have to do anything other than keep some slack in the leash. And so we call this the unspoken command because we don't put a word to it. We just assume that they'll know and understand that when they're on a leash, they shouldn't get to the end of the leash at any time for any reason. So again, her being young, she needs a lot of reinforcement with this. And the way that we reinforce it is if she does reach the end of the leash, we give a tug back proactively in the opposite direction she's going right before she reaches the end. So I've got a treat here that I'm going to get, and I'm guessing that I'll get a chance to demonstrate this to you now. So when we throw a treat out in front of her, I'll give her this first one just for being so pretty, and that'll whet her appetite. The next one I'm going to throw out a little further, and if she races toward the end of the leash, you'll see how we fix this unspoken command. So I'll toss this one a little further, right there, caught her. Good, come here, that's it. And we'll try it again. And I would recommend you guys do the same thing inside your own house. Get a handful of treats so that you can get practiced on this. I'll toss that one out. Better. She barely got to the end of that time. We'll do this one more time. Good. Good. Now that she didn't try to race after it, I'm going to say okay and I'm going to walk her up to where she'll have slack in the leash to get the treat. So, one of the things I want a dog to understand right away is I'm not trying to rob you of treats, and I'm not trying to rob you of fun. In fact, I want you to have all those things, but I don't want you to have them at my expense. I don't want you to, pull me to try to get to a toy. I don't want you to pull me to try to get to a treat. I don't want you to pull me to try to get to a dog or another person. I really want you to keep some slack in the leash at all times. But if you do that, more times than not, if you keep slack in the leash, we're going to go right where you're hoping to get to, and we're going to enjoy each other's company along the way. So that's the first one that we taught. The next one is the command sit, and most dogs already know this word when they come, but we taught it as a command. So the command sit, Millie, sit. Good. Even as I start to move around, she should keep sitting. So we don't even use the word stay. Sit means sit and keep sitting till I tell you you could stop sitting. And the way that we tell them they could stop sitting, no, sit. The way we tell them they could stop sitting, oops, no, sit. I'm kind of glad she did that. If she breaks a sit, you're going to correct up and behind her head. I'm just tugging up and slightly behind her head and helping her back into that sit position. And then the release word you chose is okay. Good. That means she can stop sitting and do whatever she wants. Ideally, when you give the release word, a dog will come to you. Now, they don't have to. They can go do whatever else they might want to do instead. But it's always a good sign if they're coming to you when you give that release word that they're enjoying the training and that they're looking to connect to you. So that was very nice. Once again, we're going to give that command sit. She's sitting on her own, but I'm going to go ahead and tell her sit. Now she's in the command. If I drop this treat right in front of her, she should hold this position. And if not, once again, I'll show you that correction technique. No, sit. We use the word no, sit, just like that. Try this again. And these are high-level distractions, especially for young dogs. They love treats, and these are really good treats, too. These are freeze-dried liver, really one of the dog's favorites. Good girl. And okay. Awesome. So there again, she got the treats, but it's how she got the treats. You know, when they're puppies, if they sit, they get the treat right away just for sitting. But as we get into adult-style training like we've done with Millie, now they have to hold the sit in order to get the treat, even as a treat is dropping right in front of them. So a lot higher levels of distraction is what we're trying to work her through. We've got a saying around here at Animal Training Development, distractions are to dog training as weights are to weightlifting. And the idea is, you know, you work out, the more weight you can lift, the stronger you are. And for a dog, the higher levels of distraction they can work through, the better trained they are. And so it's for all of us, you know, a navigation of what we call our own personal distraction ladders. And every dog is a little different. You know, some dogs are super distracted by treats. Other dogs are super distracted by toys. Other dogs are super distracted by other dogs. And the list goes on and on and on. And so we want to, you know, work our own ladders and build our dog's ability to work through the higher and higher levels of distractions as we go. Millie, sit. The next thing we got into was the heel command. And this is the most strict command that we teach. And I want you guys to do this really well, because I've always said if a dog is doing this really well, everything else falls together. And if a dog isn't doing this really well, everything else tends to fall apart. So the heel is a position in relationship to your body. You guys have chosen your right side. And so she's on my right side now. When I lead with my inside foot, and for her that's my right foot, that's when we give the command to heel. Heel. And now she needs to maintain that position in relationship to my body literally every step of the way that I go. And I mentioned this is the most strict command that we teach, because in the heel command, she's not allowed to sniff the ground. She's not allowed to look away. She's not allowed to be too far ahead or too far behind. She can't crowd me too far to the left, and she can't be too far to my right. She can't scratch. She can't go potty. And I think besides that, she can do anything else she wants. Which isn't much of anything, because she's got to be completely focused. Good. And she should always sit at the end, just like that. Good girl. This command is really important to keep really good, because this is the way you cross dangerous streets. This is the way you get through high levels of distraction. This is the command of choice whenever there's a lot going on, to really keep your dog's focus on you. Heel. Again, leading with that inside foot, my right foot, and giving that verbal command to heel. We're going to try some figure 8 patterns. I'm using 2 cones here, but at home you can use 2 chairs or 2 books or any 2 objects. But the idea is working a figure 8 pattern allows us to do right turns and left turns. And that's going to help you and your dog practice both of these until they get really good. That's a good girl, Millie. Nice, good girl. If I lead with my outside foot, my left foot, she should stay put. So as I lead with my left foot, sit. Little reminder there. Good. And this way, they're not just listening for your command, but as you continue to practice, if you're consistent, they're going to be watching you as well. There you go. And so that they're not just listening, but watching, it's going to add a new dimension of a focus on you from your dog. So if you can just remember your own right from your own left, then you can do this too. Think about this, you know, when you lead with the inside foot, the leg closest to you, sit, or closest to her, that means that she's supposed to stay close to you. When you lead with the leg furthest from her, that's when she's supposed to stay far from you. So maybe that'll help you remember. Good. Leading with my outside foot. Good girl. That's better. Next, we did the down command. Down. Good. And there again, it's just like the sit command. If I lead with my outside foot, she should stay put. Very nice. And if I lead with my inside foot, she should get up and heel. There we go. Good girl. Good. Back to a figure 8 pattern. And I recommend when you guys start practicing some of these, definitely try to find a spot inside your house to do it, at least at first, because as soon as you go outside, you'll see in the video later where we're at the YMCA, the distraction level automatically goes way up just by being outside. the scents on the ground, and she really has a good nose. They want to smell everything. The scents on the air as the wind is blowing, and today was really windy, so you'll see how she was really distracted just by being outdoors. Indoors, you can, control the distractions and keep them pretty low, and then you could even add distractions, precisely where you want them, just like when I threw the treats and made sure she was learning to hold. That's great stuff to practice indoors first. When you get comfortable with the techniques, then you can start trying outdoors. Next thing we taught her was place. Good. Now, you don't have to use a cot for this. You can choose, a beach towel or a yoga mat or just about anything that you can, think of, a little doggy bed, a doormat, whatever you want. But the idea is it's going to be her place. It's going to start to smell like her, and you let her practice it. Anybody that's taken the time to do this one well is always glad they took the time, because it really comes in handy if you have guests come over and your dog is really good at the place command. You can set this right in your own living room, and your dog can hang out there and watch you guys entertain. And maybe you want to watch a movie, and you're going to have popcorn, and you don't want her begging and jumping up and stuff like that. The place command is a good one for that. Now, to get good at this, you're going to get good thigh workouts. I'm just telling you in advance. It takes a lot of practice to get really good at, but anybody that's done it has always told me they're glad that they did it, and it is something that you'll use throughout your life. There's only one rule with this place command. She has to stay on it. She can stand up right now. She could turn around if she wanted to. She could sit on it. She can get back up, turn around the other way, lay back down on it. She could stand, walk around to the farthest edges of it, but she can't get off of it until I give her either the release word, or if I give her another command word. So I can tell her, Millie, come. This is another one we taught. Good girl. Very nice. And come means come and sit right in front of me, just like she did. This is perfect, and this is what we want. Don't think when you call your dog it's okay that she gets close. She needs to get close enough that she sits, and close enough that you can touch her, and that way if you have to grab her and put a leash back on her or something, you can. So that's one way that she can get off of that, is just to follow another command that you give her. Or if you give the release word and just give the word okay, then of course she can get off the place command and do something else if she wants. And lastly, we taught her this kennel command. Let me double check my words. Is that the right word? Crate. We use the word crate. Crate. Go on. Crate. And she should stay in there until we give the release word or another command word, just like she did with the place command. Okay, Millie, good. Let's try one more of those. Millie, crate. Good. No, crate. She should wait until you give her the release word, even if there's not a door on it. Okay, good girl. And place. Good. That a girl. So it's a lot of fun, and it will really build your relationship with her to practice this stuff. So I've always said, I think I already told you guys, I can never train a dog so well that I could just hand it back to their owners with a leash and a list of words. Dogs aren't like robots, and they won't just do it if somebody says the right words. You kind of have to earn, the relationship with them. Now, the good news is you're not going to have to work nearly as hard at it as I did to develop the same level that I have with her myself, but you're going to need to spend some time. So again, I would invite you guys to enjoy this video, maybe watch through it a few times, get your leash out. Oh, and speaking of leashes, the one that you brought her on is fine when she was a little puppy, but it's too lightweight to really use as a good training aid for you guys right now. So I would recommend you investing in a little bit heavier leash like this one. A leather leash that's about 6 foot long would really serve you well. And then the other thing that you want to invest in is one of these prong collars like she's wearing now. So I'll tell you about that when you come to pick her up. But these are great training aids for almost all the dogs we train that are young. All the dogs I've ever had of my own, for a period of time, these were really important tools to have for training. You won't need them forever, but when you do need them, they're great to have. So I would recommend that for her as well. Aside from that, just your time is all that's required for you guys to really get to the point where you're really enjoying the obedience that she's learned and the investment that you've made. So we thank you for your your trust in us. And as always, if you have any questions, reach out to us. And meanwhile, happy training. Okay, good girl. Good dog.